Good Sunday evening, everyone, and welcome to a week one edition of the Danger Zone. Tonight on the show, we'll go around the NFL and break down all of the big games this afternoon, including the Titans and the Bears, the Texans and the Colts, the Jags and the Dolphins, the Cowboys and the Browns, Steelers and Falcons, all the big games around the NFL this afternoon. A lot of good games, a lot of bad games, a lot of questionable decisions by coaches. Who goes into the danger zone tonight and who avoids the danger zone tonight. All of that and more coming up next on the Danger Zone.
You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone.
Good Sunday evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Danger Zone. I'm your host, Ken Moore. Got my partner, Floyd B., who'll be hopping in just a minute. Definitely want to welcome you guys to the show. And first and foremost, let's take care of the housekeeping duties. If you are new to the show, if you're tuning in for the first time and you have not subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, smash that like button for your boy. And then you are tuned in to the show. If you're watching on Facebook or on X, if you cannot leave comments directly, you should be able to on Facebook. But if you're watching on X and you want to hop over to the YouTube version of the show, we definitely want to get you guys comments and everything that went on this afternoon across the NFL. Of course, we're going to touch on all the games here in the AFC South, and then we'll take a look at some other action around the NFL tonight as well. And we'll be coming to you each and every Sunday night throughout the NFL season. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in my partner, Floyd B. My brother, happy Sunday to you. How was your afternoon?
Hey, man. Happy Sunday to you too, bro. Man, it's been kind of an up and down day, man. Kind of some of the things that I predicted didn't go well. That's why you always have a plan B. And plan B seems to be working out pretty well, man. But again, I enjoyed this opening weekend, man. And let's get down to it, man. Cause we had some dominating wins today, man, and then we had some very lopsided wins, man. So we can get on to it.
All right, well, let's hop into it, man. First and foremost, I want to give my little soliloquy on the Tennessee Titans and the Chicago Bears this afternoon. I predicted that the Titans would win this ball game. I think I said 17-12 was my prediction, and it was looking good. It was looking good early on in the game. The game went about as well as I thought it would. The Titans defense dominated pretty much the entire ball game, particularly in the first half. T'Vondre Sweat, Jeffrey Simmons, Harold Landry, they did a great job putting inside pressure on Caleb Williams. New defensive coordinator Denard Wilson, I thought, did a magnificent job of mixing up the defenses, mixing up the blitzes, mixing up the coverages. They had a spy on Caleb Williams to make sure that he couldn't get loose when he got outside the pocket. And I thought Janarius Sneed and the rest of the defensive backs, including those safeties, Quandre Diggs and Amana Hooker, did an outstanding job defensively. The problem came in the special teams and on the quarterback, Will Levis. Obviously, Will Levis had a terrible day, 19 of 32, about 127 yards, if I'm not mistaken, 2 interceptions in the second half, also lost a fumble, so accounted for 3 turnovers, just made some really bonehead mistakes in this ball game. And you've always been down on Will Levis. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt as being a young quarterback. But look, man, you play this quarterback position with a linebacker's mentality, you're going to get linebacker results. You need to play the quarterback position with a quarterback mentality. And Will Levis has not shown that he has the propensity to do that. He was reckless last year with his body. He was reckless today with his body. But not only that, he was reckless with the football in critical situations. And that's been my one main concern of him. When the lights shine bright, when the pressure is on, when the bullets are firing, when you don't have 3 or 4 seconds in the pocket to go through all of your progressions and you have to make a quick read, can you do that consistently? And Will Levis has not shown that he has the precipitancy to do that. He rushes, he panics in the pocket, and then he makes tough mistakes, and it puts his ball club in precarious situations. And we saw that throughout the second half of this ball game. I love what Tony Pollard brought in the first half running the football. I thought Brian Callahan did some great job mixing up the play calling, mixing up the run game and the pass game. I thought in the second half, when the Bears clamped down on the running game, I thought the Titans should have went to more of that quick passing game that we saw in the preseason. Get the ball out quick to your tight ends, your running backs. Pick up 4 or 5 yards on first down. Put the quarterback in second and short, third and short situations where you have different type of options. Too often in the second half, the Titans found themselves in third and long situations where Will Levis just could not get the job done. And the result is that a very winnable ball game turned into a crushing loss on week 1, 24-17. I know you didn't get a chance to see this game other than probably the highlights. But your thoughts coming into the season, coming into the game, your concerns were about the quarterback position and about our defense, if I'm not mistaken. The defense showed up and showed out today. The quarterback and the special teams unit, not so much.
I call Will Levis. I call him little baby Brett Favre because that's what he reminds me of. He's very, very reckless. He was reckless last year, as you pointed out, with his body wise. And again, you saw the game, so I heard you also say he was kind of reckless, towards his body today. But that goes all the way back to Kentucky. This is who he is. There's still time for him to be coached up. I do believe that. I do believe it's still time for him to be coached up. But it's kind of like what we see is what we get, man. And just you're right. I didn't see the game, but looking at the stats, man, again, Pollard had a good game. I think he had 16 carries for 83 yards. Calvin really had 3 catches for 50 yards. You dominated the game. You dominate this whole game when you look at stats yourself in points. What I want to ask you, my brother, is this on talent alone, or is maybe today loss maybe was a rookie coach loss? Can first year coach loss? Can we kind of put some of this on Callahan a little bit? It's opening day. He's on the road. He's in Chicago. Hey man, the defense, like I say, looking at all the stats across the board, you want everything but in points. So and I understand. Sometimes we gotta accept what we see and what we get. Sometimes maybe, and we spoke earlier this about Jalen Hurts. We'll get to that, but maybe this is who he is, and right now for the future, this he give you guys the best shot to win. When the coaching got to decide when and how they're gonna take the ball out of his hands. When to put the ball in his hands and when to take it out of his hand. I think the first year coach, right there, I think that's what it was. It was just a lack of experience. I'm not gonna say the turnover. You can't win most ball games with 3 turnovers coming from your quarterback position. We both agree upon that. But again, I was impressed by your defense. Again, Caleb Williams was 12 of 18 or something like that for 93 yards. Hey man, they done everything. The Tennessee Titans done everything but win the ball game. So and I was really looking for more from Caleb Williams. As you can see, I was looking for a lot more from him than that. So shout out to your D coordinator for zooming up a plan to contain him and not let him get into a groove. So it is something good coming out of that. I'm not gonna smash Will just like that right now, because I think that the coaching staff has something. You in the lead in the fourth quarter. It's your game now. So coaches got to find a way to put guys in position to put the game away, big bro.
Yeah. So from what I saw, from what I saw today, and look, I had cautious optimism in Will Levis. And there's quite a few people that's going in the danger zone tonight. He is the first person to go in the zone tonight.
You're in the danger zone.
And I don't know if you had a chance to see the interception, the pick 6, which was more like a pitch 6 than a pick 6, because that's what he.
Yeah.
Reckless. And here's my thing, and this is in any situation. If you continue to do things reckless, right, when you're scrambling and you choose not to slide, you're throwing your body in the harm way. You're reckless with your body, right? You continue to, when you're under pressure, you instead of just throwing the ball away. There was a couple of times today where you threw the ball away. But when the pressure mattered most, when you're under pressure, securing the football so that you don't suffer a strip sack when you're already up 17-3 and give the team a free field goal opportunity. You still have a 17-16 lead. Rely on your defense. Take the sack, punt the ball, let your defense continue to play complementary football. Don't try to be a hero. And that's what I see too much from Levis. I'm not going to kill him today, but when you look at the Titans schedule, there's only 17 of these things, man. It's not 162 like baseball. It's not 82 like basketball. You only got 17 of these things, and we all know when you get to the end of the year, more times than not, it's one game that determines if you go to the playoffs or if you sit at home. 3 years ago, the Titans lost a very winnable game at home. I'll never forget, to the New York Giants. In Brian Daboll's first game, he went for 2 at the end of the game. I think that Giants ended up winning that game 28-27, and that's when the Titans missed the playoff by 1 game that year. So These games are very critical. They're very important. There's not too many of them. And if you don't take each and every one of them seriously and win the games that you're supposed to win, because there's a lot of tough games once you get to the middle part of that schedule and once you get to the back end of that schedule, and you got to take advantage early. And this is one that I'm afraid for Tennessee is going to come back to bite them at the end of the year.
I mean, you just got to. You have to be able to protect a player from himself. And again, I think play calling can resolve some of the things with Will Levis. But again, you know, coaching got to find a way, man. When you're in the fourth quarter, you up in the fourth quarter. I don't care if you 1, 2, 3, 4 points up in the fourth quarter. You got to find a way to protect that lead. You know, you got, you may have to change your whole game plan. You know, whatever it may be, wherever your hot hand is, it's probably where you have to stay with to maintain. I just think the coaching staff could have did a better job in protecting the lead. You know, sometimes you have to play not to lose, you know, and they tell us all that don't play not to lose, you know, but sometimes you have to be in that situation, man. I just started going down the stretch that lack of experience.
They did everything they could, man. They did everything they could. And I was actually upset that they kept running the ball because they were trying to take the ball out of his hands, but the Bears kind of clamped down on that running game on Tony Pollard. They started to key in on him. And I got to apologize to Tony Pollard first and foremost. When they signed Tony Pollard, if you remember during the free agency special, I was completely against that signing. I thought he was washed, but he showed in the preseason that he still has that burst that he used to have in Dallas, and he showed that burst today. He had a 26-yard touchdown. As you mentioned, I think he had 82 yards on the ground today. He had a great game, average over 5 yards a carry. So he did an outstanding job on the ground. So I have to personally apologize to Tony Pollard on that. I was wrong on that. But I think on Brian Callahan, I wish he would have been a little bit more aggressive throwing the football, trying to get the ball out to D-Hop. I think D-Hop only caught one pass today, one pass for 8 yards. They were playing off of D-Hop. They were playing soft. I think you had an opportunity there where you could give D-Hop those 5 and 6 yard out patterns. And so now instead of 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, it's 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4. Then you have the option of putting the Chicago defense on their heels where you can run it or you can throw the football. I think that's where Brian Callahan made a mistake today.
A possibility. It could be, but again, it still kind of boiled down to what I was saying. Like I think the loss is more on coaching than personnel, and so I don't know who you guys got next week.
We got the Jets next week.
We got the Jets next week.
Jets play on Monday Night Football. That's another winnable game because you have the Jets that are going to be coming off a long road trip from the West Coast all the way back to the East Coast. They're not going to get in till sometime Tuesday morning. So, you know, when I said I think the Titans could go 9-8, my prediction was based on winning these first 2 games against Chicago, which they should have won today, and next week against the Jets. And then after the Jets, all of a sudden you have a Green Bay Packers team that is without Jordan Love, and we'll get to that later in the show. But now that becomes a very, very winnable ball game for the Titans in week 3. So you really had an opportunity laid out for you where you had an opportunity to start the season 3-0 and really build up some momentum. So now you got to find a way to come back home, reinstill some confidence in your quarterback, into your unit, into your fan base, and you got to get these guys highly motivated to go out and compete once again against the New York Jets, who more than likely are going to come in beat up. That was a great stat last year, Floyd, that I think almost every team lost the week after they played San Francisco because they were so beat up by the 49ers and they were so out of it mentally and physically. Almost every team lost their next game after they played San Francisco. So that'll be the situation for the Titans next week. they'll get a New York Jets team coming in off a loss or off a game to San Francisco.
I agree with you. The 49ers is a physical team, so it remains to be seen. We definitely gonna be tuned in to see that game tomorrow night. But again, kind of putting a bow on the Titans is that again, I think everything remains around how the coach and how you're going to call plays to protect a lead when you know where your deficiencies are. Again, you kind of wanted them to open it up and slang it around a little bit more. I say run the well till the well run dry. That's what I say about that. And we'll get to that in this next thing when we bring up the Texans on running the football. If Pollard had the hot hand, you got to feed the hot hand, Ken. So maybe you should have ran the ball. I'm totally agreeing with staying with the hot hand, man. So again, I just think that Callahan he'll learn. Again, it's gonna be rough for the Titans coming out the gate. I always said that before they kind of figure out what they really got and work to their strengths. The next couple of games, I think the problem to me the most winnable would be them going into Green Bay or Green Bay coming to you guys and playing them with Malik Willis as your starting quarterback. Now, so that to me is a winnable game. So it's real important on that Callahan see what he got with Levis because it's nowhere else for you to turn right now, big bro. You got to ride this and out with Levis. It is what it is.
Look, 104 yards passing total offense today, 2 interceptions, 3 of 14 on third down, 1 of 2 on fourth down, 244 total yards, 8 penalties in the ball game as well. But as you mentioned, we dominate the time of possession, 35 minutes to 25 minutes. You dominate total yards, 244 to 148. But you lose that turnover battle 3-1, and that's the difference in the ball game for the Titans. So definitely want to get you guys' comments, get you guys' thoughts on the game this afternoon. But moving on into the big in the division, the big showdown this afternoon was in Indianapolis. High scoring game in this one. The Texans won this one 29-27. Texans maintained pretty much that 2 to 9 point lead throughout the majority of the second half. In this one, your eyes were on this ball game. Got to give a shout out to your kicker, Fairbairn. I mean, that guy was drilling long field goals today. That really helped you guys out. CJ Stroud, 24 of 32, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 5 times. Joe Mixon, 30 carries, 159 yards. We didn't see him at all in preseason, but he came out today and really took control of the ball game. Talk to me about the offensive side of the ball, the offensive line, the running game, and what you saw from Slowick, your offensive coordinator, in calling that game today.
Shout out to Sola. Shout out to him. He called an excellent game, big bro. He called an excellent game. He ran. Once he seen Nixon got hot, man, he fed him. Nixon was the offense in the fourth quarter pretty much, man. He was the offense, man. He ran the football, and I have to eat some snow myself on that because I wasn't sure about the Joe Mixon track. Well, not only the trade for him, but you gave him a contract as well. And I always believe in, man, if you're going out to get something, you always get the best. And I just thought he wasn't the best back. Obviously, it was Derrick Henry, the best back that was on the market this season. But the way that Joe Mixon ran the ball today, Ken, it makes me think about some of the things. I always say you always overthink things. But, man, that boy run hard, Ken. I actually saw him, watched him. I've seen him. I follow his career, but I don't see a whole lot. Follow, but you don't see a whole lot. I saw him today, and not just because he was a Texan. This boy runs hard. He's run hard. So they definitely going to have to figure out within the offensive scheme to get Pierce some more carries and other backs on that team more carries, because I do worry about how he will be come week 15, week 16. I do worry about that. The offensive line, for the most part, CJ made them look better than he was. I thought they was terrible in pass protection. Thought they was terrible. But again, CJ make the line much better here than they are. We got one of the most overrated offensive linemen in football, and Larry Thompson. I always said he was the biggest overrated lineman it is, and overpaid. But I'm not gonna hate on him in his bad. He's a Texan, but he had a couple false starts. And again, some of this is week one. Again, some of this is week one. Offensively, man, Nico Collins, man, 5 catches, 120 yards, 130 yards, man. Stephon Diggs, 2 touchdowns today, man. They moved the ball around. Tank Dell had his touches, as well as Schuster had the touches. Where I am concerned with the Houston Texans is Jimmy Ward, the free safety for the Houston Texans. That got to be over the top. See, when they got Stringley the first time, Stringley was coming away from he beat Ward. Now Stringley could have saved him, but he beat Ward.
You talking about on that long touchdown to Alex Pierce?
Yes.
That was a hell of a throw.
That was a hell of a throw. That was a hell of a throw. But he beat Ward. Now if Stringer could have got there in time to knock it down, because he was coming from the weak side himself.
Who you talking about?
Jimmy Ward, the safety.
No, the cornerback.
He's from corner. He's safety now. Jimmy Ward.
Yeah, no, you said somebody else could have got there.
Stringer.
Oh, Stingley. Daryl Stingley.
Stingler, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if he could have on that first one to Pierce, which was a great throw. It was a great throw. But I'm concerned about kind of maybe like how smart this defense is, because I've seen some wide open guys, man, today. I think the pass rush for the most part, Hunter and Anderson in the front line, they put pressure. My linebackers make some tackles. Of course, they're not going to be perfect, but I am concerned about the back end of this defense, especially my safety positions. And that's what worried me the most, because you take away those 2 big plays and you basically don't have a whole lot of offense from the Indianapolis Colts today. Those big plays was momentum changers, and they were great moments. But overall, what I take away from them is they left a lot of points on the board. Again, shout out to the kicker Fairbairn on 3 50-plus yard field goals that easily could have been 7. So we left a lot of points on the board, and it allowed them to stay in the game. But D'Amico, again, second-year coach, he made an error going into the half when the play was under review, and they got everything together, and you got 5 seconds left on the clock, and you in position to get 3 going in, and you sit back there and you hike up, So and he took it. He was on TV. He felt it. He said, "Hey, that was on us. That's on me. That's on us." And it was. So again, a young coach. It's his second year. They're gonna make errors like that.
What? Okay. So for those of us that didn't see the game, what happened at the end of the half?
There was a controversial play call, and they were trying to see did Schultz make the catch. Okay. So when they ruled it that it was a catch and down by contact, where once the automatic replay agreed with it, it didn't charge the coach with a timeout. So now the clock is still running because the coach called timeout. But when it went, so when the review was withheld, it resumed into play, and D'Amico Ryan didn't quite understand that, and you was out there, with 5 seconds left on the clock, man. Now you're trying to make something happen. You could have easily, had the highest score in the league today was our field goal kicker, and you took the ball out his leg. You didn't give him opportunity to do his job. But again, D'Amico Ryan called that on himself,
Okay,
and
so they lost the opportunity to get points at the end of the half. Is that what happened?
Lost the opportunity to get points going into the half and coming out with the ball first in the half as well in the second half. So again, that was the coaching staff. They owned up to it. They'll learn situations as it go, but it was kind of wacky because again the call was withheld. So I mean, other than that, CJ has he was reckless a couple times. Should have been picked off. He was picked off once, but guy just didn't have both feet in. It was kind of like the Baltimore play. And then they left some plays out there on him where he possibly could have been intercepted. So he didn't have his best game, but again, you know, he didn't. He was fortunate enough not to turn the ball over today, which is great, man. And we looking forward to. I think next week we got the Bears, and we see which way we go. But shout out to the Texans, man, and anybody that's looking out there, you know, hey, I'm here. You know, it's okay. Y'all can send a comment, and we're gonna acknowledge you. But again, yeah.
So from the coach perspective, Anthony Richardson, 9 of 19, 212 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He also had 6 carries for 56 yards and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, he only carried the ball 16 times for 48 yards, and he had a touchdown as well. So it looks like you guys those are the only 2 guys to carry the football today. So it looked like you guys pretty much held Jonathan Taylor in check on the ground. How would you rate the defensive performance there tonight?
Absolutely. And they were saying his last 3 or 4 games, he had monsters. I think he had 130 yards a game against us his last 3-4 games against us. So again, in the offseason, what we did, we built up our front line being able to stop the run. And we did a great job on one of the best backs in the league, Jonathan Taylor. I like him a lot. He's a good back. And we held him. We put him in check and allowed them to maybe be one-dimensional. And that's what the key was today, going into the game and make Anthony Richardson have to think more than just so obvious or just slanging the football. Because it's obvious we see he can slang the football, you know. Right. But but he missed some plays. Anthony left a lot of plays out there, man. And again, I had questioned his accuracy. I wasn't too afraid of him. Because his accuracy, he's going to miss some throws. And that kind of what happened down the stretch. We made some plays, man. We came out with a win, man. So let's see what we're going to do next week in Chicago, man.
Yeah, it looks like you guys dominated the game statistically. Exactly 2-1 in time of possession. You had the ball for 40 minutes. The Colts only had it for 20 minutes. 26 first downs to 14. Both teams were 50% in third down efficiency, which is very good. Total offense, Texans 417 yards, equally split 213 on the ground, 204 through the air. The Colts only had 303 total yards. Again, CJ got sacked twice. Richardson got sacked 4 times. And then the turnover battle, let's see. Looks like 1 interception for the Colts. No interceptions for you guys. I don't see any fumbles. So
nobody's we had no turnovers today. No turnovers today. And
so it looks like it was a pretty clean game from that standpoint. Now, next week the Colts, they get the benefit of playing the Packers without Malik Willis. Malik Willis will have his first start next week against the Colts. When we did the schedule, obviously you would automatically mark that as a loss for Indy. Now with Malik Willis at quarterback, you may look at that as a win for Indy next week against the Packers.
I have to think on that one. I really would. I really have to think on that one because the game against the Eagles over in South America, it was a good game with Love not even playing his best game. But again,
let's go back. Your boy JB said, "What you talking about? He said one of those alleged supposed interceptions that you said CJ should have had, there was a pass interference. CJ had a completion rate of 75%, a passer rate of 15.
Yeah. I remember that play. The guy turned shoots around. It was two holding on that play. So he's right on that play there. But CJ put the ball up there a couple of times. It should have been picked off. But again, we talking about the Colts going into Green Bay next week. I'm not sure. I mean, Malik Willis, man, come on.
Well, I say it might be a W. I mean, that's the thing about the schedule, man. It's all about when you play teams. If you play a team and all of a sudden they got a major injury, that can turn what we thought would be a loss into a win. So, the Colts staring 0-2 in the face, but now that game is in Green Bay next week. So, again, you got Anthony Richardson, young quarterback, going on the road. Green Bay, it'll be their first home game. The crowd is going to be pumped up. So you still got to deal with their defense, but their defense did struggle over in Brazil against a Philadelphia team. Obviously, Philadelphia is more high-powered offensively than the Colts are, but we saw them turn Jalen Hurts over. I would expect they could turn the Colts over. I mean, that's going to be a very interesting game in Lambeau Field next week between the Colts and the Packers.
Yeah, it is, and I got a couple of days to, do a little research and little things and see which way I'm gonna take it. Because again, when you put a player in a more what you may call productive atmosphere or productive system, where you already have players and you already have skilled players, maybe it help your game. We all just disappointed he couldn't even get a Hail Mary off, over in South America. So he couldn't get a Hail Mary off. So now we feel like he can't handle
seen that enough, man.
Come on, man. Now we think the man can't do a handoff now. So that it remains to be seen, man. But I would really lean towards Green Bay at home. I think we'll see a whole lot of Josh Jacobs that game. And we'll go from there. But again, we didn't get nothing. They didn't get anything from Michael Pittman today. I don't even think Michael Pittman had a catch today for them. And he just got the big bag. So, again, it's opening day. Let's see how it goes. You got injuries and everything's coming up, man. And I'm going to put a bow on Texas, man, and say, good win. You always can go clean up some things and make a better game, man. But we're going to move on and try to touch base with some of these Cowboy fans out here. We got some of them that's tuning in to us, man, and see if we can touch base, because all of a sudden now they're the second coming of Patrick Mahomes now. So let's see about when we get to the Cowboys, man, and which way it's going to rock, man.
All right. So for the record, Michael Pittman did have 4 catches today for 31 yards, but no touchdowns. Didn't look like he was a huge impact in that ball game. All right. Another big game in the AFC in the division today. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they had a 17-7 lead on the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins struggled. Tyreek Hill had an incident before the game with the Miami Police Department, and I guess all of that will be sorted out in the days and weeks to come as far as that goes. But on the field, Miami really struggled in this ball game early on down in South Florida, but the Dolphins found a way to come back in the fourth quarter to defeat Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars 20-17 this afternoon. Also an early window game in that ball game today. Trevor Lawrence only 12 of 21, 162 yards, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 3 times. Gabe Davis, one of their free agent wide receiver acquisitions from the Buffalo Bills, he led the team with 3 catches for 62 yards. Bigsby was their leading carrier on the ground, 12 for 73, 12 for 44. Tua for the Dolphins had a big afternoon, 23 of 37, 338 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He was sacked 3 times. Tyreek Hill, look, Whatever
6
happened before
catches,
the game
130.
didn't affect it. 7 catches, 130 yards, and a touchdown. Jalen Waddle had 5 catches for a $109. So Miami offensively finally got themselves on track in the second half. Jaguars start 0-1. So right now, Texans the only team in the division with a win today.
You're right. They had a terrible first quarter. I put it like that, and they found a way to eke this win out against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Man, shout out to Brian Thomas, kid rookie receiver out of LSU, made a great touchdown catch. I wanted the Texans to stay in the first round and get him. I liked him. He's one of the good production that we saw today, that I saw for us, highlights and stats that I saw. Again, I told you, Doug Peterson days is over down there. It's just the system is gone, man. And they also led this game for most part of this game too. Maybe for the last 6 or 7 minutes of the game, they led. Well, they actually led this game all the way until they kicked the field goal and won the game. They got tied up. They were tied up at 17-17. Right. So again, I mean, Tua got hot. He came on, and they got the win, man. Interesting to see. I think Jacksonville has Cleveland next week, so we'll see how they do with that. I don't really know who Miami has next week, but it's interesting to see how long they're gonna be coming out the gate so slow, you know. But again, the incident, everything that happened today, of course, it has something to do with maybe the slow start of the game. But again, they got in motion, man. They squeaked out a win, man. You know, so shout out to Tyreek, man. Hope everything goes well with him on that altercation right there in his own home turf, you know. So just imagine what was said and what. We're not going to get all into what was said and all that over a traffic stop. But again, he still showed up and showed out, and showed why he deserving it to be the 100 top players of previous season, to be number one. He showed it today when he stepped back on the field.
Yeah, Miami's next game is actually this Thursday against the Buffalo Bills, so a short turnaround for the Dolphins. Home divisional game. I think that game will probably be on Amazon Prime as they start their broadcasting of the NFL this upcoming Thursday night. So the Jaguars go down in defeat today. Thankfully, Miami won that game for me, for gambling purposes only. The Dolphins won that game for me today. So shout out to Tua and Tyreek Hill on that. Heading over to the NFC. Inter-conference matchup between the Cowboys and the Browns. This game was the headline game this afternoon. Fox actually made this game more about Tom Brady than they did about the game itself. And I guess I see why, because the Cowboys blow out Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns this afternoon, 33-17. And the game was not even as close as the score indicated, as this was a complete dominance by the Cowboys. Now, I thought Cleveland could keep this game relatively close. Cleveland had one of the top defenses in the NFL last year. They had the number 1 ranked pass defense against the pass last year. And with the Cowboys really only having CeeDee Lamb, as their big target on the outside, I thought the Browns would try to roll some coverages over to him and try to take him away. Now, he did only catch 5 passes for 61 yards, but Dak Prescott, after getting a massive contract extension this morning, he had a pretty good day today. Nothing crazy, but good enough. 19 of 32, 179 yards and a touchdown. But Deshaun Watson, on the other hand, had to throw the ball 45 times today, 24-45, 169 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He was sacked 6 times. Now, obviously, the Browns, their offensive line is in shambles. Both of their starting tackles were out. So I knew that would be a problem today. against Dallas. I just didn't expect the Dallas offense to be able to put up 33 points on the Cleveland defense this afternoon. So the result didn't surprise me a lot. I picked Cleveland in a close game. I should have taken more into account that both of those tackles were going to be out this afternoon for Cleveland.
I should have took into account too as well that both the tackle was out. Deshaun Watson, you're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone.
And again, you didn't have your tackles and all that. But in the first half, your longest pass attempt or pass completion was 5 yards. And it ain't like you got scrubs over there. You do have some skilled players over there. But I'm not gonna fool myself anymore when it comes to Deshaun Watson. I'm officially off the bandwagon of Deshaun Watson. And it's kind of painful, it's hurtful because he started his career here with us in Houston. But I am officially off the Deshaun Watson bandwagon. I heard early in the week, I think his father passed away. I think I did hear early in the week that his father passed away.
Yeah, I think on Friday. I think on Friday, actually.
So, shout out, hey man, my heart goes out to him for losing a loved one. But from a football aspect, he just didn't show me anything. He showed me he still have the escaping the pocket ability. He got away from him a few times out there today. But just him as a football player, man, and the system that they have in Cleveland. I know they don't got Nick Chubb, but I expected a lot more from them. Again, 33 points and your quarterback didn't even pass for 200 yards. You don't have one guy that had 100-yard receiving. You had no one that ran for 100 yards. So that means the Cleveland Browns was giving them the ball right back to them. So they had. I'm quite sure Cleveland Dallas owned the time of possession. I'm almost sure of that. But again, I'm more disappointed in Deshaun Watson than I am impressed with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm just not. Zeke looked fresh out there, but the Browns defense played well, but you can't, 3 and out, turnover, 3 and out. I mean, even the best defense in the world will get burnt out and tired out. I thought them guys played well. Other than, I think Jim Schultz, the defensive coordinator for Cleveland Brown, I think his game plan was whack. You go in the all house, butt naked blitzes, and you going in there and Dak not dumb. He's not dumb. He's not a top 5 quarterback, but he's not dumb. So a lot of that doing what I'm gonna put it on the offense and they coach because he's an offensive guy, and Deshaun Watson because you guys got to figure out a way to move the ball, man. They just looked at so pathetic, Ken. Cleveland looked at so pathetic, man. This whole first half of the game, man, that it made me want to take a nap.
Yeah, it was very much a letdown as far as a game to watch. In that second window, and unless you had the DirecTV package, that was the only game that you had to watch unless you had the red zone or the package. The stats were just surprisingly even in this ball game. Both teams struggled on third down. Dallas 4 of 14, Cleveland 2 for 15. Both teams had 15 first downs. Total yardage was pretty even, 265 to 230. Time of possession was pretty even, 30 minutes apiece. Actually, Cleveland had it 31 minutes, believe it or not, compared to 29 for the Cowboys. But the big difference, the 2 interceptions by Deshaun, I don't know if they led to points. I wasn't really keyed in on the game. I was flipping around channels because I wasn't just going to sit there and watch uneventful game. But statistically, it looks like it was even. But obviously, Dallas really dominated, the key factors of that game, clutch situations, and just being able to put points on the board. Now, I did read some comments after the game on kind of the Browns social media page. And look, man, a lot of those fans, they're pretty much done with Deshaun. They understand their offensive line struggles. It was surprising to see a lot of people say, man, they wish they still had Baker Mayfield, especially when you see the type of performance that Baker put up today. And you look, Baker was a guy that got them back to the playoffs. And say what you want about Baker Mayfield, he's had a very successful NFL career. Is he a top, 10, 12 quarterback in this league? No. But can you win with Baker Mayfield? He's got two playoffs in Tampa and Cleveland. And circling back to the Tennessee Titans, when you look at a guy like Will Levis, I think that's a guy in Baker Mayfield. If you're a Titans fan, if you say, if we can get him to that level where he can be consistent, not make the big mistakes, he's going to be brash, he's going to do stuff that kind of makes you scratch your head during the game. But at the end of the day, Baker Mayfield knows how to win football games from his time at Oklahoma, and he's translated that to the NFL, where it may not always look pretty, but he can get the job done. And that's something that Deshaun has not been able to do in Cleveland, and that's something that Will Levis is going to have to learn to do in Nashville.
Absolutely, man. It's just, the writing's on the wall. This is it for Deshaun Watson, man. And I know this is one game, and everybody's saying, man, pump the brakes, but it's not just this was just one game today, man. It's just how he looked in that one game. Just so he just didn't show me that. He didn't show me.
Do you think a lot of it has to do with him not playing in preseason, because he didn't take a snap in preseason? Can you attribute anything to that?
Not very much, Ken. Not very much, man. Because you're still practicing. Is he getting hit? No, but he's still practicing. So I'm not going to put that a lot on not playing in the preseason game. I'm not going to put that. He just looked like, he didn't, I mean, what maybe the Cowboys pass rush was pretty tough today, again, with them missing both their tackles. I don't want to take nothing from the Cowboys defense today and Mike Zimmerman, because I still had doubts about Zimmer. I think maybe the game done passed him by a little bit. But it remains to be seen. I don't know who the Cowboys have next on their schedule. I think they go to New Orleans next week, if I'm not mistaken. So, again, I don't know how much battle tested they will be. Saints had a great win today, a blowout win. But, again, we'll get to them in a minute. And Bryce Young, man, because I want to shout out to the kid, man. And I want to shout out to Lovey Smith too. Lovey, I love you, man. Thank you. And we can see how they're, but I'm not highly impressed with their defense. I was impressed that Dak played a good game, man. Let's give Dak Prescott. He got his money and he got on the field and he showed why he deserved that money. But like Mr. Brady was saying in the booth today, this ain't about regular season wins with Dak Prescott anymore. It's all about what he does in the postseason. So again,
let's give a shout out to Kerry McKee, who jumped in. Hey man, definitely appreciate you joining the show. Make sure you hit that like button. He says Cleveland's yardage and time of possession was accumulated mostly in garbage time. And again, I did not see the end of the game, so that kind of puts it in perspective that a lot of those yards and first downs and whatnot came with the game with a lot of hand. Because I think the last time I saw it was 33-10. And I couldn't watch it anymore.
Shout out to Kerry McKee. That's my homeboy, City Gas, Farbrook, Class 84. That's him. Shout out to him, man. Been friends for a long time, man. Thank you for tuning in, man. That's why we touch the base on your Cowboys. He's a Cowboy fan, and he has something to be happy about. They went down in Dog Pond and blowed them out. But again, Deshaun Watson Deshaun Watson going a 5, 6, 7 game winning streak. He will be in the danger zone me until he win a playoff game. And that's just how it's gonna be with me and him. I will not. He can't fool me with the Kool-Aid no more. No.
Yeah, he said the Cowboys they go down to the Big Easy next week. All right. That's always a fun time. Oh, no, the game's in Dallas. Next week. So Saints fan get a chance to travel up. Both teams 1-0. And we'll talk about the Saints in just a moment and their big win today over the Carolina Panthers. So that'll kind of put a bow on the Cowboys, I hope they don't start screaming they're going to the Super Bowl.
Man, they already calling Lil Wayne, want him to perform instead of Lamar Kendrick. They want Lil Wayne to perform now. That's what they do, man. But again, they got a good win. They got a good win, man. But the Saints, and I know you feel touch base on the Saints right now. So I'll let you lead us on into that right there. But again, I don't put a lot into what the Saints did today, though.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Well, let's go around the NFL, my brother, and do some quick rapid fire. As we talked about, the Saints got a huge win today. You picked the Carolina Panthers to upset the Saints today. I'm gonna let you eat that crow, Bryce Young, man. I mean, look, he just is. I think it's just too much for him, man. He's just too small. He was a great college quarterback. They don't have the best talent in the world around him. They tried to build up the offensive line in the off season to help him out a little bit, but I just think Bryce is too small, and I just don't think it's going to work out. And he's a great young man. But I think he's just too small to play the quarterback position at the NFL level. And they got destroyed by the New Orleans Saints in the opener today, 47-10. And not only you, I saw a few people have that as one of their upset picks today, as Carolina beating the Saints, or at least covering the spread. And they got mollywopped in the Superdome.
And I don't know, how much of this belongs on Bryce Young's shoulders, man. I really don't know how much of this blame is on him. But looking at some of those highlights and his stats numbers, his first 2 or 3 possessions, it was just embarrassing. Shout out to kid. I can't see it, Ken. What he said? Shout out to kid. What he said?
Say the Bryce Young experience is a total dumpster fire.
Shout out to
JB say still look like a deer in headlights.
So again, man, it's just Bryce, man. I mean, my heart goes out to him, man. He's just not surrounded with a lot of talent. And they're not putting him in no position where he can even look like he can become an NFL quarterback, man. They were my upset pick today, man. I was so wrong about that, and I'm eating that all the way, man. I got to eat that crow, man. But it's just not just the way, not just that he lost. It's kind of like how they lost,
Right.
So he got spanked pretty well, man.
Yeah.
I don't know who Carolina got next week,
we'll get to it.
But hopefully, man, the young man can find some sort of success, man. For the first thing, the man need a legitimate NFL head coach. That's the first thing they need, and nobody's going down there to take that job. It's sort of like how it was with the Texans 2-3 years ago. Nobody wanted this job, And that's the position the Carolina Panthers in right now. Just unfortunate with him that maybe when they actually find a coach and get a coach, it's been his 4 years out. He out the door now. He kind of like in a Justin Fields situation, wasn't able to get his second deal from his rookie contract. So again, Bryce, man, just hang in there, bro. Shout out Lovey Smith winning that last game for us. So things might have worked out different for everyone. But Lovey decided he wanted to play. He wanted to play NFL guy, and he did what he did.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's keep it rolling, man. Let's keep it rolling. Buffalo Bills at home today. They get a win over the Arizona Cardinals, 34-28. Arizona led a lot of that game. Kyler Murray had a pretty good game today in his return, 21 of 31, 162 yards and a touchdown. He also had 57 yards on the ground. But the Buffalo Bills come back. Josh Allen, 2 touchdown passes today. James Cook had 19 carries for 71 yards. The rookie, Keon Coleman, had 4 receptions for 51 yards. This is another one of your upset picks. It was looking good for about 3 quarters, but then Buffalo comes on in the 4th quarter. They come back and win it with 24 points in the second half, 34-28.
Well, this is simple, man. Marvin Harrison Jr., 1 catch, 4 yards. But you're not going to win games, and you're not getting anything out of him. So I think they're going to have to change, get their game plan, get their young man involved in the offense, man. 1 catch, 4 yards, that's pathetic, man. It was a rookie. I think he's the first top 5 quarterback, receiver, a player, something that recorded those type of stats on their opening day in the NFL. So I'm looking for more out of him, and I think that they're going to win some games, man. They lost this game here because simply, man, they didn't have enough weapons, and they were outcoached, man. Doug McCollum, they had the better quarterback, and Josh Allen, and they squeezed that one out. That was one of my upsets today too. I had them all the way to the god doggone end, man. My upset tickets just went bad on me today again.
All good. It's all good. So the most interesting game, it wasn't the most exciting game, but it was the most interesting game on the board today for me, was Justin Fields and Arthur Smith both going back to Atlanta as members of the Pittsburgh Steelers to take on the Atlanta Falcons today. And the Steelers, look, man, Mike Tomlin does it again. Big underdog on the road, finds a way. They don't score any touchdowns today. 6 field goals for the Steelers, but TJ Watt and that defense held the Falcons to only 10 points today. Kirk Cousins in his debut. Let's take a look at his numbers. Not great. 16 of 26, $155, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. I think he also fumbled the ball a couple of times this afternoon as well, as the Steelers pull out an 18-10 win in predictable Mike Tomlin fashion.
Well, I picked it, and trust me, the Steelers going to cover the spread on the road for most of the time. They're a better road team than they are a home team, and that had a lot to do with me picking them today. But also, I didn't see Kirk Cousins having that game that $180 million that he got earlier on in the year, in the off season that he got. I don't think he was been ready to perform to that. I thought the Pittsburgh defense was just going to be better across the board, and it was an easy win. Shout out Justin Field, went back home, got him a win. But they're going to have to find a way to get in the end zone, man. They're going to have to find a way to get in the end zone.
Probably the upset of the day, the New England Patriots going into Cincinnati, beating the Bengals 16-10. Now, look, the Bengals, they didn't hardly have any of their weapons today. T. Higgins did not play. Jamar Chase did play. He had 6 catches for 62 yards, only averaged 10 yards a reception. Obviously, he had the long contract holdout, still has not gotten a new contract. So he was, somewhat effective, but not very effective today. Joe Burrow, 21 of 29, only 164 yards. A lot of quarterbacks under 200 yards passing today in week 1. But the Patriots knocked a lot of people out of survival pools today. So if you took the Bengals in week 1 of a survival pool, Your season is already over. The Patriots with the upset of the afternoon, 16-10 over the Bengals.
Definitely upset of the day. Definitely. I wasn't even where Chase played, but you said he had 5 catches for 62 yards or 6 catches for 62 yards. Again, having him on the field, I thought should have been enough to beat the New England Patriots. But we see we was wrong. I don't think the Patriots gonna have many wins. It was opening day. But let's see what Zach Taylor and the Cincinnati Bengals go from here. Because I picked them to finish last in their own division.
You
So
did.
I picked them to finish last in their own division. So in their own division. So let's see how far it goes here. And there may be a trend going on here because we all know how the Cincinnati Bengals does business, and they really don't do business. And that's their problem. So again, we're gonna be watching this kind of closely throughout the season, man. But again, I picked them to finish last in the division anyway.
Yeah, and they are a notoriously slow starting team. Next week they have the Kansas City Chiefs, so they're already staring 0-2 in the face. That game is in Kansas City. We don't know if T. Higgins is going to be back for that game, obviously with the hamstring injury. And look, if T. Higgins is not 100%, I don't expect T. Higgins to play because he's on a 1-year deal. They didn't give him any extension. They gave him the franchise tag. And when you give guys the franchise tag, they're going to look out for their health before they look out for the team. And then Jamar Chase doesn't have his bag. So as we talked about last week, a lot of unhappy players in that locker room because of their contract situation. And it may be spilling over to the football field. And the Cincinnati Bengals may be turning right back into the Cincinnati Bengals. I think there was one more big game that I wanted to talk about today. Big game going on right now on Sunday Night Football. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we talked about Baker Mayfield earlier today, facing off against Jaden Daniels in his rookie game with the Commanders. Tampa Bay won that game this afternoon, 37-20. Baker Mayfield had a huge game today. 24 of 30, 289 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions against a Washington defense that I thought would be better than that, but they were not. Jaden Daniels in his debut, 17 of 24, 184 yards, no touchdowns on through the air. But Daniels also rushed 16 times for 88 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he was a true dual threat this afternoon from the quarterback position. I don't know if I want him running that many times, but he did it today and they still lost.
I'm all right with him running that many times. I think Washington's going to get better as the season go on offensively. I still don't know why they trade away the guy to Eagles, Dawson, but it'll remain to be seen. That was one of my teams I picked today on my upset alert thing. But Baker Mayfield came through, man. I seen the great catch that Mike Evans pulled down in the end zone today. I gotta, man, look here, man. I gotta eat some crow on this here, man. Baker Mayfield, man, may not be a top 10 quarterback, man. Baker Mayfield know how to win football games, you know. And now I think he's grown up, and now I think he's coachable now. And I think that's the main thing with him, Ken, is that he's coachable now. So good win for Todd Bowles. I had him on the hot seat this season, even though they won the division. But based on how they won the division last season, I just thought that they were going to be taking a dip down. Again, it's just one game. But it remains to be seen. I just think the Washington Commanders get better as the season go on.
Is Dan Quinn the head coach in Washington?
Yes.
I got to put Dan Quinn in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone.
I got to put Dan Quinn in the danger zone. I got to put a couple of coaches in the danger zone today. First, and these are new head coaches that I'm talking to in each of their jobs. First, I'm gonna get to Dan Quinn. You're down 10 points with 16 minutes to go in the game. 1 minute to go in the third quarter, 16 minutes to go in the game. You score, you're down 16 points at this time. Simple math. Simple math. You have the 2-point conversion in the NFL for a reason. You're down 16, you score a touchdown to make it 10. You go for 2 to make it an 8-point game and a 1-possession game. You're almost in the fourth quarter of the game. What does he do? He kicks the extra point. So now you're still down 10 points. So now you still need to score twice just to try to tie the ball game up, which puts more pressure on your offense and your defense in the fourth quarter. There's only 16 minutes left in the game. There's only probably 2 or 3 possessions left for your offense to have the football. You go for 2 when you're down 10 points with that little time left in the game. You don't kick the extra point. That's number 1. Number 2, I got to find it. I had it on my list. There was another one I got to get. Oh, the other one, the Raiders today. We get to my notes. That's not it. Anyway, your thoughts on the Redskins? Do you agree with me that they should have gone for 2 to make that a 1-possession game? I'm gonna try to find my other one here that I had a pet peeve with.
I mean, yeah, you're down 2 possessions. You done scored a touchdown. You have to go for 2. You have to go for 2. Now, if you don't make the 2, you're still down back to 2 possessions. So, right. I mean, it's obvious you have to go for the 2. Is no way you kick the extra point. It don't make sense. And you're right, Dan Quinn, for that matter, there deserves to be in the danger zone. He deserves to be in the danger zone.
And you find this with defensive head coaches all the time, man. All the time, not understanding
clock,
time, score, game situations. You find this all the time with defensive head coach.
DeMeco Ryans today.
Defensive head coach, DeMeco Ryans today. Another one that I saw in the afternoon game. The Raiders, they're playing the Chargers. Back and forth game. You're down 6 points. There's 7 minutes to go in the game. You have a 4th and 1 in the Chargers territory. I think it was around the 45-yard line. 4th and 1. You got Justin Herbert on the other side waiting to get the football back. Go for it. It's 4th and 1. You're down 6. You need a touchdown. It's 7 minutes to go in the game. Pierce.
You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone.
He punts the football. Chargers get the ball, go down, score, game over. You never gave your team a chance to go win the football game. 4th and 1. Mike Vrabel did that same thing in a playoff game against Baltimore. Had a 4th and 2 at the Buffalo 40-yard line. I think it was like 6 minutes to go in Baltimore 40-yard line, 6 minutes to go in the game. You got Derrick Henry in the backfield, and you punt the football. You have to play to win the game. That was an L. Saturday afternoon, University of Houston, new coach, Willie Fritz, on the road in Oklahoma. 14-12 ball game. 4th down, near midfield, 4th and short, you're on the road. You got a chance to steal a game in Oklahoma. Willie Fritz.
You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone.
Come on, man.
he punted the ball.
Man.
He punted the ball,
man. Punted the ball. What are you punting? You got a chance to go win the game. If you're an underdog on the road and you got a 4th down and you're in the other team's territory, what the hell are you punting the ball for? Go for it. Give your team an opportunity. You don't make it, then you blow up and play defense and try to get the football back. I'm so sick of these coaches, man, not playing to win ball games and playing to lose ball games, man. It happens at every level. High school, college. I can understand at the high school level, but in college, man, major college football, NFL level, man, you got to give your team an opportunity to go win the football game, man. It's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
Piggybacking on what you saying with the defensive head coaches making these errors as far as not being not keeping up with the flow of the game, clock management, timeouts, possessions, all that stuff there, man. It's just something that they have to work on and get better. And I don't even know if they have that type of instinct in them, coming from the other side of the ball, coming from a defensive point of view, where that you more of attack mode, and it's not you're not. It's not about game management on defense. It's about stops on defense. So I think a lot of them have that mentality going into becoming head coach. That's why most defensive minded coaches that are successful, they have great offensive coordinators, that they're communicating with constantly, on headphones. So there's a reason why just as much as the incident that happened to Antonio Pierce and D'Amico Ryan Pacific, you're still talking inside your mic. You're still talking with your coordinators and everything. So again, that's a whole team effort. But again, these head coaches, man, making these defensive calls when it's time for them to be in the offensive mindset, man. I like Antonio Pierce. I thought he was a good hire for the Raiders. But again, he is a defensive minded coach.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll learn from it, Ken. Hopefully they'll learn from it, man.
Hopefully so, man. Last subject tonight, man, before we get out of here. Packers quarterback Jordan Love, he's going to be out several weeks. They're estimating anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks with the MCL injury. Thankfully, it wasn't a season-ending injury, but he's going to miss probably at least the next 3 ball games for the Packers. And I'm going to pull up their schedule right now. Next week, the Packers have the Colts. We talked about that earlier. That game will be in Green Bay. The following week, they'll be in Tennessee to take on the Titans. And then after that game, let's see, they may have it's no bye weeks yet. Let's see. In week 4, Green Bay will take on the Minnesota Vikings. That game also will be at home. So it'll be Malik Willis time in Green Bay. It'll be an opportunity for Indianapolis and maybe Tennessee to get wins that they normally may not, look like they would get. I don't know who their third quarterback is, if they have a third quarterback on their roster. There's already been talk that they may need to reach out to Ryan Tannehill to come in. And how ironic would that be? The 2 quarterbacks who were 1 and 2 in Tennessee, and Ryan Tannehill and Malik Willis maybe 1 and 2 in Green Bay at some point later this week.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of speculations, man. But I think this is this is
Two-Tone Blue. What's up, bro?
This
been a long time.
Yeah, this is really about Malik Willis taking advantage of this opportunity that he gets. You know, so whichever way Malik Willis rolls is probably which way the Green Bay Packers will be rolling for the next 3-4 weeks, at least. But again, I'm glad he won't be out that long, man. I always root for the brother. Just got his money, man. But let's give
Thank
let's
thank
see how
goodness
Malik.
money.
Huh?
I say, thank goodness he got his money.
Yeah, yeah. But it's gonna be interesting though. You know, I'm not gonna throw the towel in on Malik Willis because he couldn't get a Hail Mary off. I ain't gonna throw it in on him right now like that. He gonna have a full practice. He got weapons. I think they're gonna give him a heavy dose of Josh Jacobs, man. And I think they can be. I'm not saying they can win the game next week against the Colts, but I think they can be very competitive, put themselves in a position to make win if they kind of follow the game plan that the Houston Texans set out there from, and that's run the ball against them guys.
No doubt, man. No doubt. But we'll see what happens next week. And of course, again, thank you guys for joining in tonight. Appreciate you guys hanging with us on a Sunday night, and we'll do this again, hopefully each and every Sunday throughout the NFL season. But make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you know when the shows come on. As of right now, we're planning 2 shows each Sunday, a pregame show around 10:30 in the morning before the other pregame shows come on. That's going to focus primarily on the AFC South because we know our division doesn't get talked about enough on the national stage. And then also on Sunday evenings, we'll come in and kind of wrap up the day in the NFL. So with that being said, man, for my partner Floyd B, I am Ken Moore, your host, and we're going to get up out of here. And we hope you guys enjoy the rest of, if you're watching Sunday Night Football along with us, pretty good game between Detroit and the Rams. And then, of course, coming up tomorrow night, you got your first Monday night game with the Niners and the New York Jets. Any closing thoughts, my brother?
See you when I see you. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna do something after the Monday night game or not. Well, let me know, and if we can, we will. It's gonna be an interesting game tomorrow night. Jets and 49ers. I think it'll be very interesting.
Yeah, that should be a good one, my man. All right, man. Well, we're going to get on out of here. You guys have a blessed week. Enjoy the rest of your night. And we'll see you next Sunday.
See you.